What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Hold on, I'm just gonna get rid of all the stuff on the screen here. Give me a sec. Oh, wait, no. I did it right before the first time. Hold up. I just need to put this one away. Yeah, there we go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another watch along, another live stream. As you can tell, I'm still somewhat tired from it all, but here we are. We keep it moving. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic Tuesday or Wednesday, wherever you guys are checking in from across the world. I hope you guys are all doing well. Today, I just kind of wanted to keep. I just wanted to keep the conversation flowing because I feel like a lot of Manchester United fans at this moment in time just kind of want to have a conversation more so than anything. That was the consensus and what I'd learned yesterday. So, in lieu of that, I felt like I'd just go do another quick little live stream and just chat with the Immaculate Collective and see how you guys are feeling so far. Obviously, lots of news and sort of the inside information that's been going on and exploding from behind the scenes. We're kind of getting fed all of it now through whatever means of journalist that has been fed the information or told the information or whatever it is. But we are here and we want to talk about it. But again, I just want to do a quick little stream today before I have to jump off and get some more work done. But let me know what you guys are feeling in the chat. Of course, I am live all across the interwebs today, so get involved in the conversation, get involved in the chat, and of course, subscribe and follow and all of that good stuff. And if you're a Manchester United fan, this is the stream for you. This is going to be an opportunity for us to talk again. This won't be a call-in stream today, but get involved. Get involved. Raheem Campbell checking in. Raheem says, Ollie at the wheel. Looks like already lots of United fans are excited about the prospect of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer returning, and that is going to be the main crux of the conversation today. So, Sam T. Shan says, Ole ball loading, can't wait. Jose Benitez says, hashtag Ole in. Ruslan Tajime Tao says, Ole please. Lots of Ole fans on the IG side of things. Let's see what the TT fam is saying. CCWT says, hi from Singapore. Shouts out to you checking in from Singapore, my man. Appreciate you. Let's see. This one in the chat. Always calling me grandpa and ancestor and all those things. What are you going to let it go, man? Let it go. D. Zamet says, I kind of want Van Nistelrooy back. Grandmaster Ronan in the chat says long-term manager. We'll hold that conversation for another time. For now, let's just focus a little bit on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and the big news that's coming in. Because if I'm being honest with you, I think like it'll probably be Ole. That's just the vibe. Let's see what the Yichi family saying. Jonathan Yanis joining us. What's going on? Baba Pachu. What's going on with the GGMU? United. Rohan Kundu joining us. What's going on, Rohan? He says, Ollie back, I guess. I guess not too excited about hearing about Ollie. Jimmy V in the chat. What's going on, Jimmy? He says, Ollie's at the wheel. I've been saying to bring Ollie back. Well, looks like he might be coming back. So I guess you're very happy in that respect. Mine Diamant. What's going on, my man? Thank you for joining us again. Emmanuel Palomar. What's going on, Emmanuel? We got the whole family locked in today. Son of Gondor joining us. He says, I'm tired, boss. You and me both, brother. You and me both. We're both tired. Sedant joining us. What's going on, Sedant? Long time no chat. Hope you've been well. What's going on? Justin 10 in the chat says Ollie at the wheel. Okay, so it looks like a lot of you guys are very excited about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So let's just kind of just get it sort of, I guess, laid on the table for us to kind of break down and dissect. Of course, Manchester United, the interim manager before the interim is set to be Darren Fletcher, who is preparing to lead Manchester United tomorrow in the game against Burnley. So I am quite excited to see what will unfold in that sense. But we still have to assign sort of a long-term interim manager. It's kind of ironic in that sense, but we do need a long-term interim manager. And one thing that I did like about the whole sort of Darren Fletcher being hired in this moment in time is that Darren Fletcher knows the ins and outs of what's going on right now. The one thing that Rio spoke about, which I actually liked what Rio was saying with respect to Jason Wilcox, was that they do understand what kind of football Manchester United want to play as a club. And irrespective of what Ruben Amorim was doing, they were playing a different setup and they were playing a different style with the youngsters, especially the U18s, which is being highlighted because Darren Fletcher was the U18s manager. And in his press conference today, leading up to the Burnley match, Darren Fletcher mentioned that they wanted, there was a big a difference between the senior level football and of course the under 18s, because in the academy level they want to develop the players, and that's the biggest whatchamacallit focus, I guess. That's the main objective of the U18s, you know. And while I kind of do understand what he means in that sense, I also don't kind of understand, because it's like for example, like golf, right? So when you're a young kid and you're learning golf, you're taught with a specific swing and you're taught with a specific rotation and the amount of hip thrust and all of these things, right? But if you feel like the swing is incorrect, more oftentimes than not, pros will tell you that you need to completely reset your swing. And to kind of reset your swing as you get older, unless you're a professional, for your average Joe, it's kind of hard to do. You know, and obviously that's a bit of a stretch of a comparison. But when you're thinking about young players, you're developing a specific style and a formation. Obviously, as they progress throughout their careers, they might join different clubs. They might play under different managers. So, of course, formation must be fluid. And at some point, they're going to need to adapt. But at the same time, if what we were instructing them to play was, quote unquote, the United way, you know, you just kind of feel like maybe, hopefully, you know, maybe we translate that kind of style into playing, you know, at a senior level. Obviously, you can't compare the U18s football versus senior level. That's like, you know, those are two complete different levels of quality at that point. So while it is kind of incomparable in that sense, you still also have to think about from the perspective of identity. You know what I mean? And I dropped a video today with Rio, and that video talks a little bit about the identity and the tactics of how Darren Fletcher plays. Now, Darren Fletcher plays with a 4-2-3-1 or the 4-2-3, which has been discussed with Jason Wilcox and the powers that be. And I kind of liked watching the U18s play. They were pretty good. It was fluid, and it looked expansive. It looked attacking, but it looked expansive, which I liked. You know, it kind of shows a little bit more of confidence with respect to the players and how they approach the game. Obviously, like I said, don't start getting upset in the chat. I know game is very different from a U18 levels versus a senior level. But anyway, the point what I'm trying to say is that while Darren Fletcher is being sort of the interim before the interim, the next interim manager, his job for the next 6 months or so is going to have to be how to make sure that these players are going to be motivated, galvanized, and sort of quote unquote reset in many ways, right? They need to be reset, because I don't foresee us playing a back four. I don't foresee us playing with 3 center backs. I do foresee us playing with 2 center backs and two fullbacks. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a manager that I think divides the opinions of many fans, because while things were good with Ole, and we discussed this briefly yesterday, while things were good when Ole was absolutely bossing it, things when it got bad, you know. So the ups and downs are quite sort of dramatic in that sense. But Ole, I don't necessarily think, if you compare Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's football to Ruben Amorim's football when things were sort of at a low, obviously while it's unfair to compare the two situations, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had it a little bit better despite having a weaker squad in some ways. It's kind of weird, but, you know. Here we go again with Yakult saying, anyone ever tell you look like Anne Hathaway? What's with this Anne Hathaway? Yakult always just comes on, just tells me I look like Anne Hathaway, and then doesn't say anything else, just leaves. Anne Hathaway is beautiful. I am not beautiful. I'm just average. I'll take average. I'll be happy with that. You know what I mean? Anyways, we're not talking about Anne Hathaway. We're talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Let me see what the chat's saying. Shavine in the chat says, I'm surprised so many people think this is a good idea. Does Ollie have any a coaching knowledge to do this? Last time he had McKenna and Carrick. Even then, we weren't successful. It's even harder for him now. Of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will have to bring in some sort of coaching staff. Absolutely, obviously, in the time being. Maybe he'll ask for Carrick. Although I find that harder now because I think Carrick has already established himself as a senior manager. I don't necessarily see him jumping into an assistant role again at this moment in time. Although it could be possible, you know. But yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not gonna rely. You're not gonna rely on Ole to do everything. You know, he's obviously gonna be a manager. He's not gonna be the coach and the training coach, and he's not gonna do all those things. He's obviously gonna have assistants to do that. Now, there were conversations about people saying, "Oh, why don't he bring in Carrick or why don't he bring in McKenna?" There were some conversations about people saying, "Why didn't he bring in Roy Keane?" There's lots of conversations. Although, as much as I love Roy, I don't think having Roy Keane as a manager is a good idea, in my view, respectfully. Or sorry, assistant manager, rather. Let's see. Away we go says, Ollie coming back brings some form of hope. Erling himself even liked the post of his return. I did see that. I did. Well, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer always showed love and a soft spot for Erling Haaland. We all know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted to bring Erling Haaland. He discussed the situation on Gary Neville's overlap, Stick to Football. He talked about, I can't remember the exact price, but he did mention it, and it was just shocking. We should have brought him 100%, but Yakul says, pray for us, West Ham. Oh, West Ham is going through rough right now. We thought we had it rough. West Ham's having it rough too. Brat says, bro, Zidane is coming. Here we go. Zidane is not coming. Let's not do that. Let's be real. He's not coming. Hunt Alex says, I would love for Ollie to come back. It looks like a lot of you guys are excited for Ollie to come back, apart from Shavine and maybe some other folks in the chat. Daniel H in the chat, what's going on? Jimmy V says, the worst Ollie's times got was directly because of Cristiano forcing us to switch our tactics to suit him. The best part of his game was it was flexible and playing for win every game, not to lose. And I'm going to say this real quick before we say anything. Paul is in the chat. What's going on? Peaceful Paul. Shouts out to Paul. He's happy that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is back at the wheel. And I know many Reds that are super happy with the idea of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer returning, because one thing more than anything, right now, the vibes are at an all-time low, and we need to sort of reinstate those vibes. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was exceptional at bringing the vibes back. There was a reason why we were called Vibes FC, right? If we were talking about keeping Ole for a long term and giving him a second chance at a permanent situation, then I would be more sort of cautious about that conversation, because I think we would need to discuss that a little bit more further. But on an interim level, at this moment in time, I would love for Vibes FC at this moment, because we need vibes. We absolutely need vibes. We need vibes to come back. Abs in the chat says, we were entertaining. Exactly. I'll take entertainment at this moment in time. Grant Robertson in the chat. What's going on, Grant? He says, I am disappointed that the owners betrayed Ruben Amorim, and I think they'll do it. I don't know about betraying Ole in the sense, because I think Ole will be coming and joining and understanding that his role is going to be more of a part-time, short-term role. Ab says, we need happiness in our lives. Absolutely we do. Rayed in the chat says, Ollie will have a better squad to work with this time around, so I'm optimistic with Ollie at the wheel. Good Vibes FC. Hey. Rayed, I like that a lot. Vamuna says, Ollie has a brilliant record as a caretaker manager. I'm about to say something that maybe many of you guys might disagree with, and that's okay. But I genuinely remember, and I hate keep bringing back the old days, but I remember when we were first linked with Cristiano Ronaldo, and this is what I said. I love Ronaldo and I love Cristiano and what he did for Manchester United, and I will always have a soft spot for him as a former Manchester United legend, right? However, at that specific moment in his career, that was not the right purchase from Manchester United's perspective. And I think the reports at the time were saying that, oh, we need to make a move because Cristiano Ronaldo might just go to Man City and that would completely destroy the pride as a Manchester United fan and all this stuff. And I and I remember specifically saying that I don't know which camp probably pushed that. It could have been Ronaldo's camp. It could have been the hierarchy back then. I think it was, who was it? Was it Woodward? I can't remember, but whether it be Woodward or Murtaugh or Richard Arnold, whoever it was, whoever pushed that sort of that media, that gave me even more of a clearer idea that Manchester United probably did not or should not have went with Cristiano Ronaldo at that moment. And when I made a video, and I think I remember I jumped on United View and I talked about this, and I got absolutely horrendo crucialized. I got absolutely destructo-disced. The amount of Man United fans that called me a plastic fan and called me a Yank for not being from Manchester and not understanding the importance of Cristiano Ronaldo. No, I told y'all back then that Cristiano Ronaldo, as much as I got a soft spot for him, the most important thing for me was Manchester United. And at that moment in time, that was not the right signing. It was reductive. We had a great number 9 already in Edinson Cavani. Yes, he might have not had a good injury record, but if anything, we probably needed to go for a younger number 9 at that moment and not bring in a Ronaldo. Because clearly his pace was not there. Yes, he scored a lot of goals. And yes, I'm actually, if anything, I'm happy that he joined us again, because as a United fan who missed out on the first stint of Ronaldo's dominant era at Manchester United, I never got to see him score a goal for United in person. Cristiano Ronaldo allowed me to complete the dream of him scoring for Man United, wearing a Man United shirt, hitting the sea in a Champions League game. So I'll always be grateful, and I'm glad he came. And yeah, he scored. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like his impact was minuscule. He still had a decent impact, right? Especially in that first season. But my point was that when we're looking long term, we were building something with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Cristiano Ronaldo, signing him at that age is a stopgap signing. It's not a building long term signing. And I love Ronaldo, but that wasn't the right move in my view. Do you know what I mean? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted Haaland. We had Edinson Cavani, our senior striker who was never going to play 40, 50 games a season. So he was obviously with the injury record and all of those things. We needed to bring a young buck to grow him, to nurture him, to let him build. That should have been Erling Haaland. We should have went all in on Erling Haaland. He was ripping it in the Bundesliga. Ripping it. He clearly was, like, everybody could see that Erling Haaland was different, you know? But instead we went with Cristiano Ronaldo to sort of, you know, save our face, really. Ed Woodward saved his face, really. And that annoyed me. And the amount of abuse that I got from fans was shocking. I'm not here to say that I told you so, because I'm not here to do that, but I told you so. You know? I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if we didn't sign Ronaldo, would have had a different time. But of course, we're very careful about that conversation. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer himself is very careful about the conversation, because clearly it wasn't just on Cristiano Ronaldo, right? It's the same process that we're going through. We need to find a balance. Manchester United have always had balance. We had experience, we had youth. But many a times in key areas of that pitch, we do not have the balance. A few years ago, what did I say? We needed to bring in a Harry Kane type of striker, somebody who knows, who's guaranteed goals. And then we needed to spend the rest of the funds on a young number 9 to grow and nurture him and have him learn under Harry Kane's tutelage. But what did we do? What did Richard Arnold and John Murtaugh do? They dumped that money on Rasmus Højlund. And I got time for Rasmus. You know I got time for Rasmus. But that wasn't, we needed a goal scorer, because that front line was just filled with a bunch of young players trying to make a name for themselves. There was no leader in that front line. It should have been Rashford, but Rashford's head was clearly not at Man United. He wanted to leave. So who do we rely on? Jadon Sancho? And it was Garnacho on the left, Antony on the right. Two of the most unbalanced, selfish wingers that we have ever seen. Two wide players. And then we had Rasmus up front. And I felt like Rasmus got completely. And of course, this is under Erik ten Hag, but I'm saying that it was we've shown repetitions of this bad decision making. We cannot afford to do that again with this new regime. We cannot. Grant Robertson said Ed Woodward brought Ronaldo for marketing value and to get money. Yeah, it was a completely reductive behavior. We took the 7 off of Cavani, who obviously was doing so well for us, and almost sort of ousted him. Kicked him out, basically. I will never forget that. I will never, ever forget that game. I will never forget that game in the Europa League. Manchester United versus Ammonia. I have never heard. The closest thing I've heard to Ammonia was NH4, NH3? The chemical compound. We must have flung about 429 crosses and passes into the box for Cristiano Ronaldo. I can't even tell you how many times I saw Diogo Dalot touch that ball and just, it was almost like the controller. It was like he had it on lock to always look for Ronaldo. And yeah, that's his job. Cristiano Ronaldo was our number 9. Yeah, of course, I get that. I get it. However, it wasn't the right time for Ronaldo. And Ronaldo ended up leaving on bad terms. It ruined Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's situation, and it ruined Manchester United's situation in many ways because Ronaldo went on to talk with Piers Morgan and completely destroyed Manchester and completely just ripped Manchester United. George Antonio says, bro, don't roast my team like that. You know what? That's on my bad. I ain't trying to roast Ammonia. I'm not trying to roast Ronaldo. I'm not trying to roast Ammonia. I'm not trying to roast anybody. I'm just saying that's what happened. It was a series of bad decisions. All right, enough of me yapping. Let me see some comments here. Vispo, thank you so much for sending all the love. Appreciate that. Rayet says Dalot is best friends with Ronaldo. Of course, he's looking for... Yeah, and I get that. And I also get the fact that Dalot needs to supply crosses for his striker. Let's be real, you know? And again, I'm not here to just roast Ronaldo. No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm saying that it was the wrong timing, you know? I got so much time for Ronaldo. He's a legend of Man United. I just don't think that it was the right move for him to join us at this moment in time. Grant Robertson says, vote for Ji-sung Park as manager. Love to see it. Love to see it. Irfan Afghan says, Luis Enrique 2027. Apparently those reports coming out of Bild, the German publication, about Luis Enrique not signing, not re-upping with PSG, it was apparently false. Apparently those reports were wrong. Oh man, I'm so sick and tired of TikTok. Every time I try to stream on there and I'm trying to like talk to my TikTok family, it just turns off. It is so annoying. TikTok has to be one of the most frustrating platforms. Ridiculous. Anyways, Sia Hiralias says, but what CR7 said in the Piers Morgan interview was spot on though. The top hierarchy of the club would deserve the bashing. Yeah, they did at the time. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not mad at Ronaldo at all. No. And of course, that interview, it sucked because it exposed a lot of things. But the thing that my only beef with that interview was that he did it with Piers Morgan. Imagine he sat down with like a Henry Winter or like a Laurie Whitwell or flipping John Shin. Imagine he sat down with Good Vibes John and had that conversation. I wouldn't have been sitting there talking about Cristiano Ronaldo's abs, I'll tell you that. I want to be glazing Ronaldo's abs. We'd be getting down and dirty, talking, having a really serious conversation. Echo Zura says Mendes did us a mischief with those city links. That's what I'm saying. It was pushed by somebody, you know. Ashwath Ramanan says, I think Piers Morgan interview was the last straw for me. I love Ronnie, but that was too far. Yeah, that one hurt a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. That one hurt a little bit. Bancroft in the chat. What's going on, Bancroft? Bancroft, sorry, not Bancroft. Bancroft says Ollie at the wheel. Roy Keane as assistant coach. Who's stopping that team? Let me be honest with you. Why I'm a little bit careful about the idea of Roy Keane being the manager. If Roy Keane becomes assistant manager, there's going to be a breakdown because Roy Keane is an old school kind of guy. And I don't even think he'll want that assistant manager job. He's not going to want to be in that dressing room now. The modern age of footballers is very different from the eras, not even the eras of when he was playing. It's even very much different from when he was even managing. It's been a long time. And Gigi Craig says, I'm a United fan till I die, but boy, do I want us to lose to Burnley. What makes you want to lose to Burnley? Very curious. Why would you want to lose to Burnley? Late Night says he won't want it. Late Night 663. I agree. I don't think he'd want it either. Look, to my Immaculate Collective, I'm just going to say this real quick. And I need you guys to listen very carefully. Yeah. And please listen very carefully, especially to my younger young kings in the chat, to my young princes in the chat right now. I need y'all to listen real quick. My streams aren't exciting in the sense that like I'm sitting here roasting anybody and just absolutely just roasting people, because that's not what I'm here to do. It might get boring for some of y'all, and that's okay. But I'm here to speak the truth on how I feel. And when it comes to sometimes criticizing people, or when it comes to sometimes talking about things that I think that people have done wrong, you will never hear me talk about human beings and talk about physically attacking them or assaulting them, because even if it's a joke, I think it's very important that creators understand that they have a voice and they have a platform and a community by which the community is composed of many different age groups and backgrounds. Do you know what I'm saying? I will never sit here and tell y'all to and say things about attacking people, because that is absolutely abhorrent, even if it's a joke. Because some of the younger folks are gonna hear that, and they're gonna go, and they're gonna think it's okay. And it's normalized things, and that's wrong. And I won't do that. Do you know what I'm saying? Sapien says, John, answer the question, bro. We all want to know, what manager are you picking? I'm still thinking about it. I'm not really too sure. I would love to have Luis Enrique. I would absolutely love to bring Luis Enrique, because if we bring Luis Enrique, he can bring that guy with him. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, sorry. I just want to wrap up on the conversation. The point that I was making before: content creators, big or small. Even if you guys want to make a video, it's important, because y'all need to understand that y'all have a voice. You know what I'm saying? I know sometimes we're on here to F around and have fun and mess about, and that's cool. Do you know what I'm saying? But if you're out here talking about normalizing this conversation about attacking people and shit like that, that is dangerous stuff, because you set precedents for young kids to think that that's okay. When I first started doing content, I cannot even tell you how much racial abuse and threats that I received simply because I was an American, an Asian American, and a Man United fan that wasn't from Manchester or from England. Back then, it might have been a little bit different, but I still received a lot of abuse, and I always used to grow up, thinking I was just I always used to think I had a thick skin because I grew up in New York. I've seen it all. I've seen it all. So I used to think, ain't nobody gonna fucking faze me when I'm here on the interweb. A bunch of pricks like chatting shit. Like, I used to think I was this tough kid that like it would never have fazed me. Nah, it fazed me. It fazed me. It eventually gets to you, and that negativity, it completely just destroys you. Like the amount, I'll never forget. I will, and I brought this guy up a few times on the stream. There was a kid named Ryan Anderson who would nonstop abuse me, just leave nasty messages, and I would ban him and block him, but he would keep doing it. And back then, the IP protection was weaker, so you could just make a new account with a new email, and he could keep doing it. He kept attacking me, racially abused me, said all this crap about me. And then eventually I figured out a way to ignore that. And then he started attacking me. He started making fun of my TV. I'll never forget that because my friends screenshotted that and they would use that in the group chats and be like, yo, Ryan Anderson back at it again, calling your TV a bitch ass TV. Like he would nonstop. And that's where I made sure to remind myself that if I ever continue to do content, I became responsible to a certain degree and understood that it's not about clicks. It's not about making sure how wild my take is. Because first of all, I'm too old for that shit. And also secondly, it's important. It's important. I don't want none of y'all to be racially abused. I don't want none of y'all to go through what I had to go through. Football is so important to me. Football is close to everything to me. It's so important. But it ain't everything. We have a life, we have family, we got loved ones, we got stuff to take care of. We got so many important things to do. You don't want to be out there getting racially abused. Trust me, it doesn't feel good. No matter how tough you think you are. No matter how tough you think you are. That's why when I'm telling y'all in the chat, like I love trolling. I love when I see y'all trolling and having fun. Trolling is fun. We mess around. We fuck about it. That's cool. Taco in the chat says Sunny or Park Ji-sung? Both. Anyway, sorry I went on a bit of a tangent because I was seeing some comments about people were like wanting to like do some bad things to some people, and I was like, nah, I gotta address this. Dioblar says prediction for World Cup for Korea. Let me say this, Dioblar. Hold up, Dioblar, hold up, Dioblar, come. World Cup 2026 champions, South Korea, Taemingo, come on. Stop playing with me. Okay, that's it. And all right, let me stop messing around. Let me see some comments here. Raya says, "Is Uncle Patrice linking you up with Park?" Well, we are in discussion. We are gonna line that up. So hopefully, I can bring you guys some good news in that sense. Hopefully, more Uncle Patrice content is soon coming. Trust me. I can't wait. I can't wait to bring you on the journey with me as we complete our journey and meet Uncle Park. If I cry, y'all gonna have to forgive me, okay? I've been trying to cry a lot less. You know what I'm saying? Because, all my friends are like, yo, stop crying on camera. You look like an idiot. And I was like, all right, whatever. This is obviously they're joking, but I don't know if I'll be able to hold myself back from not crying if I meet Park Ji-sung. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yub in the chat, what's going on, Yub? He says, damn, to be honest, I used to get bullied as well for making content. Not as bad as that, but it effing sucked because all I wanted to do was chat football and I felt like it was getting taken away from me. That's awful to hear, Yub. That's awful to hear. And Yub, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've spoken to you a few times on this channel. You come off as, I don't know you in person, but you come off as a very respectful young fella, and I really love that. The one advice I can give you, Yub, and I don't like giving advice, but if there's one advice I can give you, is to keep doing what you believe in doing. If you believe, you're passionate, and you have fun making content, don't stop. Keep doing it. Don't stop. Because it's about you. It's about you staying true to yourself, and it's about you doing what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Nightwing says, that's going to be great if you can meet him, man. Who even needs content? Just hang out. So originally, I wanted to just well, we had this discussion with my team, and we're like, they told me, they were like, John, like, go enjoy yourself. You know, if when it all gets aligned, like, we're not bringing cameras. Just enjoy your time with Park. Man, I thought about it, you know, and I want that moment to be very, very important. But at the same time, I thought about it from the perspective of you guys. You know, you guys are the ones that helped me get to that point. You guys are the ones that are gonna help me meet Park Ji-sung. You guys are the ones that made my dreams come true. And it's important that you guys are part of that journey, you know? So at some point, I would love to make sure that you guys get to see that connection when it happens. Sapien says, pays the cost to be the boss, John. This ain't your only gig. It's great to see you grow your platform to 15K subs. You know what? I'm so grateful for that, Sapiens. 15K is a massive number for me, you know. And when I talk about quote unquote followers, I don't like to say, yo, I got 15K followers. I always say that we're 15K strong in my Immaculate Collective, because we are a community, you know. And I truly felt that, especially this past few years, when we were doing content, especially when we were out there with Maddie, when we were out there hosting kit parties, when we were doing trivia. I see my community. I see y'all in the streets. It's freaking insane to me. You know, it is absolutely freaking insane to me. You know what I mean? Our devs in the chat says, John, do you think the board appointing Ole is just to mitigate the backlash from fans because they know that we'll take it easier on a club legend than on an outside manager? Seems like a band-aid. I mean, you have, like, I understand why you feel that way, but me, genuinely, I don't think so. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer just makes sense. It's gonna be his second stint, which means that he's gonna have to learn from that first experience. And on the second side, it's only for a short-term role. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is out of a job at this moment in time. And he's been around and he knows the club. I think it's a perfect fit at this moment in time. Oh my goodness. W's in the chat for Ray, for Nightwing. 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate you for that, Ray. Appreciate you. I'm bringing back, by the way, I mentioned this before. I'm bringing back the gaming streams. I'm bringing them back. And it's just going to be gaming and just chilling and drinking coffee and beer and just hanging out. So the members, you guys are going to get that back. I owe you guys so much in that sense. We're going to figure that out from a schedule perspective, but that's coming back. That's coming back. I've been moving around some stuff, and we're going to bring that back. Thank you so much for that, Ray, for the gifted memberships again. Shouts out to Ray. Ray's FJZ says, who you think is the best fit? Right now, at this moment in time, I think it's going to be, if we're talking short term, if we're talking just short term, it's going to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think he's the best fit. I think he's going to be the best fit. I would love to see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer run the club in that sense with sort of a McKenna or a Carrick. I mean, hell, like, I wouldn't even mind Roy Keane there as long as it's not just Ole and Roy, although I'm a little bit more apprehensive about just Roy. I got so much time for Roy, but in this modern era of footballers, he's not going to be, it ain't going to connect, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, yeah, we might do another FC26 run, Jimmy. I might just kind of, I don't know. I'm so tired these days. I don't even know if I have energy to be like getting intense into the games, but I'm definitely going to be playing Overwatch. Shouts out to my Overwatch fam. Probably bringing back the Call of Duty. I'm not too sure yet. I haven't played Call of Duty in so long. I feel like I'm going to just flinch every single time now because I haven't played in so long, but we'll see. We'll see. But they're coming back. And of course, my members, we've had lots of fun back in the days. Shouts out to the Kyopo fams. Shavine and Rays also says, what about long term? I like hearing about Luis Enrique. So here's my 3 contenders right now. 4. I have a 4. I have a 4-man shortlist at this moment. Luis Enrique, De Zerbi, Nagelsmann, and Tuchel. Those are my 4 at this moment in time. And it kind of makes sense because we can decide at this moment in time, because after the World Cup, they might want to change in, like, the World Cup could be potentially their last World Cup in terms of a managerial capability. I would love to bring in Thomas Tuchel. I love Thomas Tuchel. I think as a manager, I think he's fantastic. But if we want to go the sort of the more younger, a little bit more data-driven style, then I wouldn't mind a Nagelsmann either. Nagelsmann got disrespected towards the end of his time at Bayern Munich for no reason at all. No reason at all. And I know he probably was hurt by it, and I know he probably learned his lesson from it. There was a time when Nagelsmann was taking a scooter to the training session to work, and people were roasting him for it. Like, how are you going to be a manager and riding a scooter? Why the hell not? Why the hell not? Why do people judge so much? Let the man do whatever the hell he wants. This life is short, man. We don't got a lot of time on this planet. And if he's the manager of Bayern Munich, let him ride the flipping scooter. The only thing I would maybe say he shouldn't ride a scooter is maybe he should ride a car just to be a little bit more safer. But apart from that, who the hell cares? Do you know what I'm saying? Why do we gotta comment and criticize and judge so many things? Let the man rock. But anyways, Tuchel, Nagelsmann, De Zerbi, and Luis Enrique. Although I also probably think that maybe the other two in Glasner and Iraola might also be in the contention for that as well. But those are sort of outside shouts for me. Yusuf says, apparently Enrique rejected a contract from PSG. That has been proven wrong. Reports told us that was actually incorrect. That was the wrong report. Although I would have loved, like I said, if we bring in Luis Enrique, tell him to bring Yi Gang in with him. Bring me. You know what I'm saying? Katie Marie, 17 months of membership. Thank you so much to Katie, you absolute legend. She says, hope the park meetup happens as soon as possible. Best 17 months. You are the absolute best. Thank you for everything. And then she ends it with, Ollie! Shouts out to Katie. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And of course, like to all of you guys, thank you for your support. I will promise you, I will do the best I can to find that balance of when we meet Park, to make sure that I'm not disrespecting anybody, because I don't want to be shoving 20 cameras with me, but also at the same time being responsible. Let's see. Jack Reacher says, wouldn't mind Jurgen Klopp. I respect Jurgen Klopp and I like him as a manager, but no thank you. No thank you. I'm okay. Good manager, but no thank you. No thank you. We need a manager for the long-term project. Remember that meme? Jurgen Klopp? He says, I'm out of energy. We're not trying to hire a depleted guy. He's trying to retire and just chill out a little bit. We don't need that. We need somebody with energy and gusto. A lot of bit of that. Remember, I used to say that word a lot. Oomph. Bancroft says Semenyo to City for 88 mil. Do you know what's so funny? Is that people have to be, it's like you have to understand when you're a well-run club and you've been winning for a while, it's so easy to sign players because you don't need to be held at ransom. You can literally go, we are a successful club. We are winning. We don't need to do anything to attract players. We just need to put out a call and they're going to want to come to us. You don't want to give us Semenyo for 45 or whatever, or 60 or 70 or whatever it is? Cool with us. We'll go find other options. When things go well, it's easier to operate at the top. Look at Real Madrid. That's how they lost Lenny Yaro to us. They're like, yo, we don't want Lenny or whatever. Y'all don't want to sell Lenny to us at that price? They wanted to bring Lenny for a lot cheaper. And then Lille was like, nope. And then Real Madrid was like, all right, cool. You don't want him? Then cool. We don't want to pay that. You don't want to agree on a price? We out. And then we got Lenny Yaro. So thank goodness for that. But anyways, M. Ostard, which is, I'm pretty sure, Mustard, says, what about Zidane as a coach? Zidane ain't coming, y'all. Let's be real. Zinedine Zidane ain't coming to Manchester United. Nuh-uh. And do I want Zidane either? I don't know. I'm not. I mean, I like Zizou. He's dope. He's cool, and he's proven in some ways. But I don't think it's gonna happen. No. I want a manager that I know that he understands that the club is the club. You know what I'm saying? Like Zizou is too big of a figure. Like he's gonna come in and carry it with his own huge aura. And of course, I love aura, but I think if we're looking long term, it might be a bit difficult. Unless Zidane out of nowhere pulls up his sleeve and he's like, "Yo, I got a Man United tattoo. I've been a lifelong Red." Then it's a different story. Sapien says, I like Allegri. He's crazy AF. I talked to Patrice about Allegri. He said Allegri was hilarious because when he joined Juventus and he was playing on that left-hand side, he says Allegri would non-stop chirp at Patrice. And Patrice was like, yo, just let me play, man. Damn. He said Sir Alex was very different because Sir Alex, he would just say a few words and he would just go back into the box. But Allegri, on the other hand, was just on the touchline, just screaming consistently at Patrice. And Patrice was telling me, he was like, yo, brother, like, stop. Let me play. Which I thought that was funny. Kathy in the chat, what's going on, Kathy? She says, any NYC footy events coming up soon, you'll be a part of, even if it's even better if it's Manhattan, just because I can actually get there. I am in the process of aligning a few things. We are currently working on a few projects at this moment in time, so we are going to be announcing something real soon. I did so I kind of wanted to. Oh shoot! I kind of wanted to gauge the interest of the local Immaculate Collective, so I put out a poll. And I was like, guys, if I hosted a Man United football panel show where we just kind of chatted about football, would y'all be interested in joining? And I got a very overwhelmingly positive response, which I was very surprised about. I didn't know that I had so many of my Man United fans here in New York and New Jersey in this area. So that has given me enough and told me all I need to know that we're probably going to host our own little show or our own little kind of panel sometime in the next few months. And I'm going to probably line up some guests. I'm going to hope to see if I can bring somebody along. I might maybe, I don't know. A lot of my fellow content creators who are incredible, they are also very, very busy. You know, a lot of them are full-time and they got their own jobs and their own, lives and their own, priorities. But if I can figure out a way to set up a budget for them or, organize some sort of something, I think it'd be cool if we can bring, set up something like that. That'd be really cool. Echo Zura says LA bound next. LA definitely is going to be a destination. I'm actually thinking I might be in LA sometime in February or March. Probably, actually, I might even be there early February or late January. Because we might have to do a cheeky little link up with Son Heung-min. We'll see on that. But yeah, over 300 of you guys joining us tonight, which has been absolutely awesome. So thank you guys all very, very much. Anything on McKenna, says Jack Reacher. No, I don't think McKenna's gonna. I don't think he's gonna wanna. He's gonna. Once you become a manager at a certain level, unless you're sort of on the elderly side and you kind of want to just chill out a little bit, like we saw with Rene Mullenstein, we don't really need to bring even Mike Phelan. I don't think they're gonna want to even take that job as an assistant at that point. Jack Reacher says Jurgen Klopp is good looking like you, John. Why does that sound not real? What are you trying to get at here? Ray says, what's your view on Xavi? With the greatest respect to Xavi, I prefer Luis Enrique a little bit more. There's a little bit more pedigree, there's a little bit more experience, and of course there's the results speak for himself. Luis Enrique has won a hell of a lot more. The next manager that I want United to bring is not a manager that needs extra experience, that needs a little bit more. We need to bring experience. We need to bring somebody that we know that can steady the ship and completely stabilize and take us to that next step. Because before you know it, the new stadium's going to be ready. Before you know it, we're going to be a complete different side. And by then, we need to be ready to challenge. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, of course, taking a chance on a young manager who's going to learn and who's going to show pedigree and potential to do more. Yeah, that's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. But at this moment in time, no. There's a time for it. There's a time and place for certain things. Do you know what I mean? Vinod says, what if Luis Enrique is available and we go for him? What would he bring to this team? He would bring... Luis Enrique is known to not mess about, similarly to a lot of the more serious managers, but he's not as wild, he's not as aggressively in the sense of like a Conte or even like we mentioned before, Allegri. I think Luis Enrique is a little bit more balanced in that sense. I've actually kept a closer eye on Luis Enrique because of this man right here. I've been watching a lot more PSG games, and the way I see PSG and the way I see Luis Enrique set up his teams is strategically and structurally very sound. He's a student of the game. You can clearly tell he has an understanding of the game, and I like Luis Enrique. Artie's in the chat again. What's going on, Artie? He says, I'm tired of coming here and seeing you suffer. He says Luis Enrique will walk in, see the players, and run out. Artie, you are. Oh, Artie. Oh, man. Emmanuel Palomar says, Arc Raiders? Is that a game? Is that a good game? Original Bro in the chat. That's a sick name. You're the original bro. He says, hello. Hello to you as well. Richard says, I don't know why Man United ain't buying an extra right winger and a cam. We definitely need an extra cam, maybe. Especially if we know that the likes of Marcus Rashford and oh, sorry. Oh my goodness. What were we saying? Oh yeah. Maybe not so much a cam. I think more so than anything, we need to improve on our midfield options and our defensive options first. Joshua Jay Xerxes in the chat. What's going on? My man says, I love you, mate. Watching from Nigeria. Shouts out to you, checking in. Appreciate you. And sending love to Nigeria, who are going to be playing against, I believe it's Algeria, right? I'm so sorry to my AFCON folks in the chat, to my AFCON Immaculate Collective. I've not been able to keep up to date with respect to the AFCON side of things. Last year I followed Nigeria, and we did watch-alongs for the Nigeria AFCON games. But unfortunately, this year I've just not had the time. It's been very busy. But I am keeping an eye on the results. And sending love to Nigeria as well. Artie says, Luis Enrique is the closest thing to Pep that we'll ever get, and respectfully, United is not ready for Enrique. He didn't extend, and maybe he's waiting for the City job. Maybe, who knows? Maybe. But the reports about the extending thing apparently isn't true, so we'll see. Let's see. Katie Marie says, I'll worry about the long-term manager later. I want to enjoy now. I agree wholeheartedly. Absolutely. I'm in the same boat as you, Katie. APK says, Stephen Housen is 201 odds to become the next manager. I saw that. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Steve's getting too busy now. I'll be tagging him. He don't even respond. Normally, he used to respond by telling me to STFU, but now he don't even got the time for that. We got Junior Davis checking in and says, blessings from Jamaica. Sending love right back to you, my man. I have to visit Jamaica soon. I have to go visit Usain Bolt. I loved everything that he was doing in terms of the relief for the hurricane, and he was just out there really showing love to the folks in Jamaica that was affected and devastated and ravaged by the hurricane. So sending love to Usain Bolt and sending love to Jamaica as well. My man, my family. Prime says, Glasner, what do you think about him? No, thank you on Glasner. He might be a good manager, and he might not even play back four, but I just don't think that it's the right connection right now. We don't want to. This whole back three situation, this back five, has become such a thorn in the backside for Man United fans. We just want to move on from that. Kathy says, "Wait, John, I know I joked and call you an unk, but how old are you?" How old do you think I am? What the hell? Getting a FaceTime call. Weird. Anyways. And Jack Reacher says, hopefully nearly world-class Andre and Nana will be back. Coach Artie says 37. Do I look 37 to you? Don't you dare. APK says, bro is 11 years old. I'll take 11. No, actually, no, I'm not taking 11. That's wild. I'm not 11 years old. I know, like, the whole, like, yeah, y'all tell me I got a young face, but 11 is reach. Sapien says, John's got to be about 29 to 32. I'll take that, too. Jack Reacher says 66. What the hell? What are we doing here? What are y'all doing here? Kathy says, I'm going to say 27 to 32. Coach already says, oh, God. Oh, Artie, damn it. No, I was in the middle of reading something else. I'm sorry, Katie. Having a great night with some Korean plum lunar heart seltzer. Whoa. That sounds fantabulous. Black sesame ice cream. Oh. As the Celtics are the 2 seed now. We don't talk about the Boston Celtics on here. I know you're a Celtics fan. But with Knicks tape, baby. We're Knicks out here. Coach Artie says, I won't age until United win 5. Come on, y'all. I'm going somewhere between 31 to 35 as you keep going on about being in college just after me. Well, I'm 66 because you know a lot. Guys, let's not talk about age. It's rude to talk about age. Let's not talk about age. Prime says Knicks gonna win the finals. That's what I'm talking about. Let's talk about the Knicks, if anything. Yeah? Go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Come on now. I wish I could scream a little bit louder, but you guys also have to remember, I don't do these streams in the studio anymore. We got rid of the studio, so I've been doing these at home, and that means that I want to keep it a little bit more quiet to be respectful to my neighbors, especially my neighbors downstairs. One of my neighbors, they have a new baby. Shouts out to the new baby, and of course. For those of you that I don't have a child, but for those of you that do, I'm sure you guys know how hard it is to, put some of the babies to sleep and stuff like that. And the baby sleeping schedule can get crazy. So I don't want to, scream while the baby's asleep and then wake up the baby. And then, you know what I mean? Mace Windex in the chat. What's going on, Mace? He says, would you take James Garner back? I would love to take James Garner back. Y'all know I'm very careful about bigging up youth players, and for me, James Garner was one of the young players that I genuinely felt like was one of the players that we should have kept. Really. K Slater in the chat, what's going on? He says hashtag John Shin babysitting. I grew up babysitting a lot with my grandma. Mace Windex says I thought you had a son. Jun Young in the chat says 안녕하세요. Jun Young 안녕하세요. Kathy says, you need those soundproof stuff on the wall like Kamst does. Kamst is wild. He's wild. And those soundproof things I looked into it, they're very expensive. Like to cover parts of the wall, well over $1,000. And I don't got $1,000. I spent all of that my money building out our studio, and then we just blew it away in a year. So I wish I didn't do that now, because I would have spent a fraction of what we spent at that studio here and soundproof this place, which I regret very much so. But yeah. Cannibalistic says Jimmy is his son. Jimmy, Cannibalistic. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Jimmy, I don't know who you're talking about. Jimmy, he's gone. We don't need to worry about him. He's gone. APK says John be yelling during watch-alongs all the time that the neighbors never slept. Now we have a new... That's funny. You guys are hilarious. Coach already says bring Martial, Jay Lings, and Rashi back. Just vibe out. Hey, you know what? Let's do it. Let's run it back. Let's run it back. Bring them back. I'll take them back. I think this is a good place for us to leave the stream, guys. It's been about an hour. I was originally planning on ending it at 7:30. But it's all good. Mace Windick says, did you have a falling out with Jimmy? And numero uno moderator Vision the chat says, John put Jimmy in the Infinity Castle. Oh, wrong one. Threw his ass in right in there. Threw his ass right into the damn Infinity Castle. Opened them. Sent his ass right in. Yeah. Emmanuel says, I'm doing my math homework while I have you in the background, John. I love the chill vibes, man. I'm pushing 30. Hey, shouts out to you, man. Shouts out to you. Love that you're doing your homework. Doing homework is important, guys. Richard says, if I gave you 200 mil, who you gonna buy? First, I'm buying a house. I'm paying off my debt. I'm gonna buy myself a house by the lake. You know, it don't have to be in New York. I would love to go to like northern Quebec. You know, where there's like remote areas. I'd buy a lake house by the lake rather. Yeah. I would buy the entire sword collection in the Demon Slayer series, every single katana that was in there. I would also buy all the cool figures for Naruto. Yeah, and I'd have my own room with just anime stuff, some cool stuff, you know what I'm saying? And then I would have another room just where I could just do my studio stuff. Yeah. And then that would probably cost only maybe what? 10 mil tops, 5 mil. Yeah. And you gave me 200 mil, right? So I still have 195 mil. And then what I would do is I would take probably about 50 of those mils. Yeah. And I would just, would I invite Hoyland to your house as Coach Artie? Absolutely. I would invite Hoyland. I would invite McTominay. I would invite everybody. I would invite everybody that I mess with. Mason Mount's coming. Johnny Evans is coming. Bruno Fernandes is coming. Yeah. Richard says no Nissan GTR, no Honda. Nah, I'm not a racer kind of car. I do want a Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon though. That would be cool. Coach Jordy says, I hope you never get the 200 mil then. The UK Iaxer says, would you invite Garnacho? No, thank you. Garnacho's not invited to the cookout. No, I'm sorry. We having KBBQ with beautifully marbled Korean beef, marinated, delicious with some side dishes. Yeah. Grilled right over the top with some just perfectly fired up charcoal. I'm sorry, wooden coal. Yeah. And we're going to have some really clean soju and some beer. And we're going to have a great time. And Garnacho's not invited. I'm sorry. Nah. I'm good vibes, John, but sometimes I keep it real. And if you do me dirty to the point where you upset me, then you're not invited. I'm sorry. Jose Morales in the chat. What's going on, Jose? My man says, are you going to Mexico versus Korea this World Cup? I would love to, my man, but the prices are absolutely redonkulous. Unless I work with some company that maybe flies me out there. I don't know. I'm okay with that though. I'm okay with that. You know, I don't know how long we have, you know, God willing, you know, I wish I had more opportunities in the future to finally go see South Korea play in the World Cup. But nothing is guaranteed. You never know if South Korea is going to ever qualify again. You know what I'm saying? However, I'm not mad at that if I don't get to watch them again this year, because I would love to just be able to watch it with my community. If if I don't have anything aligning with with any company where we go watch South Korea in Mexico for the group stages at least, what I'm gonna do is probably rent out a venue and we're gonna do a South Korea watch along together. So we're gonna probably do that together. The UKI Xer says the butcher at the house party would be lit. Lisandro Martinez gets to sit right next to me. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy. I'd be like, yo, Licha, hermano. I would pour him a shot of soju. In Korean culture, you know, if you pour the shot to your dongsangs, you're showing love. Yeah, and then I would have him pour me a shot too. You know what I'm saying? I don't even drink like that, but I would just pour it anyway, and then I would just pretend to drink it and just, you know. But yeah. Anyways, I was having such a good time fantasizing about the 200 million, and we just got interrupted. We probably still have like at least. Oh, I was gonna say that I would have spent 50 mil. Yeah, I would probably buy some Manchester United stock so that I can find a way to sit at that table of the investors. So I kind of want to understand what the hell is going on in there. You know what I mean? And then the rest I would just invest, throw the money somewhere, you know, and I would just live off the land and have a good time. You know what I mean? 200 million? Are you mad? You with a question here. He says, John, would you rather never watch South Korea ever again or never watch Man United ever again? Yub, how dare you? Yub, how dare you ask me that question? I can't answer that question, Yub. That's gonna you're breaking my heart right now. That's not even you're just provoking. That's not even a thought-provoking question. That is just, you're out to get me. Coach Artie says, bro's gonna live stream Fletcher getting sacked. Artie, what are you doing, man? We're gonna have a good time. Manchester United gonna win the Champions League. But yeah, everybody's we would have, and you know what we would do is we would do like a huge like a watch party where we watch a Manchester United game, and we would do like a thing where it's like we have it in like, I don't know, like a very accessible area somewhere not super expensive like New York, and then we would all just fly out there, you know what I'm saying? And we just vibe out. Just vibe out. Everybody would be watching the game. We'll be drinking, having fun. That's a nice thing. You know, our community is not as massive. You know, we're not a million K strong. A million K. Yeah, that's how you know I'm tired. Yoop says, I'll take that as neither. Yes, neither. Neither. I'm going to watch both of them. Artie, you freaking wild. Oh, Artie, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. Oh my God. Vinod says, bro, what's your opinion on Fletcher being the interim? He did mention that his Manchester United would be something that we, the fans, could be proud of. I hope so. The one thing that I said in my video that I dropped today with Rio was that I said that Darren Fletcher, the one thing that we can guarantee is that he understands what Man United is. He is a Man United lad through and through from the academy. This guy's been there and done it, and he was one of the unsung heroes. You know what I mean? But yeah, anyways, guys, I think this is a good place for me to leave it. I'm already late. Oh my goodness. We're always doing this. Control Alt Delete, not even Alt. Control Delete says Liverpool winning the league. Liverpool ain't winning the league this year. No. Coach Artie says, I swear to everyone, I love Rio. What are you trying to do right now? Don't be attacking my guy. That's my Rio. You know what I'm saying? That's my Rio. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna end it here, guys. I gotta head out. But that was fun today. I know we talked a little bit of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, what he brings, what he doesn't bring, what we expect. It's pretty simple, really. He's going to be only here on an interim basis. We need the vibes right now. We need somebody to reinstate the vibes, and I'm okay with that because I know we're going to play pretty well. Football, I'm not worried about. I actually think we're going to play well. I'm not saying we're going to win every single damn game because clearly, obviously not. But I think we're going to be pretty well. I'm more worried about the fans and how they feel about this moment in time. And I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be able to bring that back. Yeah. Yoops is calling show tomorrow. Tomorrow I will not be doing a calling show. I know I was all big about the new schedule, but I have some projects that I'm working on right now, including working on a documentary, including working on it's a lot. I wish I could tell you some more, but I can't at this moment in time. It's a lot, but thank you all so much for all your love and support as always. Yes, and of course, guys, we are very close to reaching 16K strong on YouTube. I can't see. Oh, it says 15,928. Insane. Absolutely insane. I never thought I would have passed 10. I never thought I would have passed 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, but now we're going to be 16K strong. So come join us on YouTube. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for all your love and support as always. I'm out of here. Take care of yourselves, okay? Especially if you guys are here. I don't know what's going on in other countries, but I know in America, especially here in New York, the flu is really hitting people hard. So if you're, especially from wherever you guys are, if the flu is really wrecking people, be careful, wash your hands, yeah? Do what you need to do. Make sure you drink a lot of water, all right? Drink water. Drinking water is a lot. Making sure that your body and your cells are hydrated is very important. It's step one in keeping a good immunity. I'm not a medical professional, so don't take that advice, but it's just kind of what I'm thinking, you know what I mean? Drink lots of water, okay? That's it for me today, guys. If I have time, I'll come back tomorrow. I might, if anything, I might do like a post-match reaction. I won't be able to do the live stream because I'm going to be working, but that's about it for me. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back tomorrow. Yeah. I'm going to go finish up some work. I got to go finish up some other chores, and hopefully I can get to bed by 2 o'clock today. Be happy, be healthy, take care of all your loved ones. And until next time, I'll see y'all's later. Take care, everybody.